Welcome to the Seattle Art Museum, and what we are looking at here is candidly an art form I do not know a great deal about. These are Aboriginal paintings from Australia, and I have seen these before, but never in the extraordinary depth with which they are presented here at the Seattle Art Museum. And I wanted to walk you through the gallery here because I have never seen such an exceptional collection of this type of work. Now this is and again, I'm gonna probably mess up a fair amount of this, so take anything I say here with a grain of salt because I am not well educated at all on this art form, which has a historic feel to it, but actually it's a newer art form that only goes back to the 70s. I mean, obviously it doesn't look like it is abstraction. I mean, this clearly is abstraction. You know, I say that, and it's not abstraction because these patterns, from reading the wall text and watching the video, this is a visual language to these, to the Aboriginal people who painted these. They are more like landscapes or maps of ancestral homelands, places where they would farm. There are pictures in here, patterns, symbols, if you know how to read them, and I don't, quite candidly. But the color, the intricacy, the detail, again, all of this Aboriginal painting from Australia is identified by these dots, and that is how the pictures come together. And again, I've never seen as many in one place as they have here at the Seattle Art Museum. Again, you could very easily, this one doesn't have the dots, it's all linear. You could very easily call this abstraction, but you could imagine, you know, just look at those two pieces. Can you see maps there? Can you see outlines? Can you see directions, perhaps, landscapes? I'm sure you can. And this is just an extraordinary collection of these paintings. All of these paintings are from the 2000s. You know, so this is not a historic tradition like weaving or pottery for you know, the Pueblo tribes in New Mexico or anything like that. Again, here you see all the dots aligned, you know, in that kind of geometric pattern. I've only written about these paintings, well, I've actually written about them twice, but the first time was because actor Steve Martin is a major collector of Aboriginal painting like this. He was turned onto it from an article he was reading in the New York Times one Sunday, and he came across the article and he saw a picture and like myself, I mean, he saw these things and I, like probably you too, he was just astonished. Martin is a huge art collector, a huge art nerd, you know, really knows his art history forwards and backwards, but he came across these images in the Sunday Times and he'd never seen them before and he was just captivated. So he rode his bike down to the gallery where they were being shown and ended up purchasing several and becoming a collector. And he had put some of his paintings in a show with Gagosian Gallery, I believe, for the story I was writing. Anyways, they are extraordinarily intricate, extraordinarily detailed. You can imagine the time it would take to compose these. Dot, dot, dot. You can still see the dots. Now these on this painting, they run together and form this remarkable pattern. And to just put it solely into a Western art historical canon context, and that's not fair. These paintings don't aspire to be that. That's just the tradition I know. But I mean, you could hang these next to Mark Rothko, Agnes Martin, contemporary artists like Mark Bradford, Rashid Johnson, without any difficulty, and they would absolutely hold up, just spectacular. And again, here in Seattle, they've got an entire gallery of them, and I'm just blown away by the presentation here. The line, the detail, spectacular. Again, there is plenty of information about these paintings available online, and if they interest you, I would suggest you reach out and find those resources. I know the University of Virginia Art Museum has, I think, the finest collection of Aboriginal paintings from Australia in the US. They travel those paintings quite a bit and do shows. So that would be another place aside from Seattle where you can go see this work. Again, here and there you'll find these paintings, here and there, here and there. But in this sort of volume, and this, oh my goodness gracious, look at this one. I mean, it just radiates. All the dots, all the lines. And again, the stories here, I would love to know. They've got a video playing in the gallery from the artists that details more of the intention and the meaning in the pieces, how they relate to the culture and the lifestyle of the Aboriginal people, but simply from a visual aesthetic standpoint. I mean, I am and have been drawn to these paintings since I first saw them for the color and the pattern and the detail and the line and the artistry of them, you know, understanding nothing of the artists and the storytelling and what the imagery means. But here at the Seattle Art Museum, I was just absolutely astonished by the volume and caliber of these works that they have. So if you are interested in this sort of material and find yourself in Seattle, boy, come on by, and you are in for a real treat. This is not something you're going to see at MoMA or the Art Institute of Chicago, the Met, Denver, LACMA, I mean, you name it. This is the best collection of these artworks I've ever seen, and I get around, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Golly, look at that one. Man. Seattle Art Museum, Aboriginal paintings from Australia.